Honestly, I think the thing that's going to keep me most interested in coming back for part 2 of season 2 this summer season, as much as it's crazy to see our dragon officially in a humanoid form, fully free, everyone's come back, there's the uncertainty with Milim and the demon armies and everything like that. There's a lot of crazy things that probably have you excited for part 2. The possibilities are seemingly endless. But the thing that's actually keeping me the most interested has to be Diablo, and where the jealousy / envy angle is going to go with a demon who is so loyal seemingly to Rimuru that it's exactly like Ranga. It's just a little puppy, and if Rimuru gives attention to one of the others, he just pouts, or if Rimuru forgets who he even is, he's pretty much ready to jump off a cliff and end his life. The man, and just what that little interaction represented, opens an entire web of possibilities for some of the most hilarious, but I think frightening interactions that could happen. This is a guy who, honestly, I fully believe is devoted to this slime. It feels that way. I think after last week, I was tiptoeing, I was like, there could very well be ulterior motives, there easily could just be this devoted loyalty, but the idea that he got so jealous over, like, Ranga of all characters, 100% this man is just so incredibly enthralled by Rimuru, and if characters cross Rimuru, which we've already seen happen, the toying around of last week, and not even breaking a sweat. Now that Diablo is officially named by Rimuru, I feel like anyone who truly crosses him, I think we're gonna get a reminiscent feeling of what we just saw with the 20,000 characters who met a very unfortunate end for trying to cross the nation of Tempest. But then we also, on the flip side, have all the hilarious moments that are going to be able to build up, and to be able to have a demon character who's going to be able to equally frighten you as he will be able to equally make you laugh. You don't get to say that too often in a show, but leave it to that time I got reincarnated as a slime. Truthfully, walking into this episode, I wasn't expecting anything too crazy to happen. Probably argue nothing too crazy did happen, other than obviously Milim going a little crazy, and then obviously Veldora kind of releasing and, about to cause a rampage, but I assume as soon as we see our boy Rimuru, we'd be like, oh, there's my buddy Rimuru, what's going on? But I think they just did so many little things that kind of built up to one big moment. You kick the episode off with everyone revived, and I'm sure there's going to be some naysayers saying, oh, what was the point of this? Everyone who died came back, what was the sacrifice? To them, I would say the sacrifice is we literally watched a slime who, within the first few episodes, he walked up to a nation of monsters and said, never kill any humans. What he ended up doing was he killed 20,000 humans in order to not only evolve himself, but bring back all of those people. This is a slime who now is willing to kill. This is a slime who has been forced to remove part of his beliefs in order to function in this world, and in doing so is now a very, very powerful being. And it's going to be interesting to see the more people who cross him, the more he'll have to continue to do things that are pretty brutal, because unfortunately, if nations cross you, if nations march up to your door, you kind of have to blast them away, and in their case, it doesn't take much struggle to get blown to pieces. And I like that about the show, where you get to have your favorite characters, and sure, the general interactions, Hsieh's cooking tastes like shit, it's the general jokes, her getting upset, but we've already had the sappy, we've already had the tearjerker of her being gone, and all these characters being gone. Rimuru wanted this back. The difference is Rimuru can't go back to the way things were for how he deals with humans. Now, he's already killed. He has a lot of different smaller problems at play. The one hopeful benefit is if the dragon is still truly loyal, that will cause that church to probably be kept at bay for the time being as you deal with everything else going on. So I like how this is probably one of the only cases I can recall in an anime. They kill a bunch of characters, quote unquote, and then they all get brought back. Generally, what these authors miss is they don't change anything. They bring everyone back, the baddies are defeated, they're probably in prison or they change their ways. But here, Rimuru killed those baddies, and the few that are imprisoned, there's literally like 3. This is a character who had to change, and even though his general interactions with his village is the same, you wouldn't want that to change about him, unless something truly went wrong with the evolution, and as Great Sage, who evolved into Raphael, said, everything kind of went a-okay, but yeah, you kind of get that sneaking suspicion Raphael is going to be a bit more of a troll than Great Sage was, because, just saying, I've always spoke this clear. Okay, wait a second, no you haven't. That's gonna be interesting. I'm wondering how much we're gonna see, what we saw with last week with old Raphael kind of finishing up the trial there, and what it's going to look like, how many times that's going to happen, or if that's going to be a one and done thing. Time will tell, obviously, but I'm excited to see more interactions, because up until now, Great Sage and Rimuru have kind of been like, here's an AI voice telling you things with a bit of humor. Raphael seems like it's going to be a full-on prankster, if not troll, and that could be exciting and frightening depending on which direction they take it. Milim was definitely an interesting one. I think ever since we had, I forget when it was, like 6 episodes back now, 5 episodes back, where we just saw that reflection and she looked very, very menacing. Seeing her just completely annihilate. If we remember, Milim's attack back when we fought something at I think it was like at the very end of season 1 or closer to, you know, they're still were repairing the roads that she caused damage to in this season. Look at those mountains. How do you repair that without some insane magical abilities? She was absolutely devastating, and it's going to be interesting to see what her interactions with Rimuru would be, because even Rimuru says, like, this shouldn't be like her. She shouldn't stoop to these ways. Is she being brainwashed? Is she being controlled? Or is she just truly that pissed off with him that all bets are off? I'm really excited because I feel like that's going to be a very core aspect of the first little bit of the second half of season 2. What's going to go on with Milim, because as long as Veldora is truly on Rimuru's side, that should keep the church at bay. We already got imprisonment, so we do have that political angle. We got to get our boy and, you know, girl up in there, got to rule the kingdom and hopefully not have them betray you, as you also deal with the impending wars that are happening with demons. And it's like, okay, things are getting a little hot. And because we've already seen there has been a cost of death, yes, the cost of death on our opponent's side was very massive. On our hero side, not so much. The thing is the only reason Rimuru was able to do that was because he had a shot at evolving. The evolving's already done, right? So while they probably could introduce characters who might be able to revive, at the same time, I feel like what we just saw, it probably couldn't work a second time, because really, we've already had a satisfying way of reviving characters without it blue-ballsing us. We had sacrifices on the antagonist side. So now really seeing where Rimuru as Demon Lord could go, I mean, the fact that he literally named a demon and it only took half of his like little molecular cells there, the little mana things that he uses to name them. I mean, that probably would have knocked him out for a week's time if he hadn't evolved into a Demon Lord, if he even could name him, right? So there's so many new possibilities, but I like how the core aspect of slime is still alive and well. The humor is there, the interactions are there, you still see the slice of life there as well as ever, but the maturity of the actual narrative is a lot different, and the fact that we had such a hefty sacrifice on their side. There's literally, from the looks of it, 3 characters out of 20,000 who survived, and they're not looking too hot themselves. They looked a little phased in the head. It's going to be good to see the show come back in summer, and I mean, that's kind of what I've assumed is going to happen, is it's just going to continue getting crazier, because a lot of people hyped up how crazy the season would be, and while the last third of this anime was definitely pretty damn insane, you definitely see why we had to cover our tracks from season 1, the stuff that couldn't be adapted and now finally is adapted. So I'm hoping that season 2 will just kind of take like the past month of slime and just kind of roll with it, do things that we expect, but also just shake us to our core. And with literally a dragon coming out of our little slime here and now a pretty badass form, I think the possibilities are probably endless. Let me know your thoughts and feelings though down below. What did you think of this episode? And of all the little like big reveals that happened, what was your personal favorites? For me, probably seeing the new form of our Dragon Boy. I think that was definitely pretty cool, but I mean, the humorous interactions with Diablo will always be my favorite things, I think, going forward, but let me know yours down below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, show your support, and hit that subscribe button if you're happy and you're around here. So until next time, everyone, please take care and have a good one.